All right, it's almost noon in Texas, guys. We're going to kick it off again today. Thanks for joining. Okay, 12 o'clock in Texas, folks. Once again, thank you for joining us today. We're going to be doing these lunchtime streams. Almost noon in Oklahoma. Well, guess what? You're in the same time zone I am, buddy. So, yeah, I agree with you on that. Big John's Ham Shack, thanks for being here. Greetings and good afternoon, or good noon, actually. I show 12 o'clock straight up. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas, preamble Christmas. So, and good evening to those of you across the pond. I know it's about 6 p.m. in the United Kingdom right now, or parts of it anyway. I'm not sure if there's more than one time zone in the United Kingdom or not. That's a good question. I might ask that today. So, special shout out to everybody in the chat, in the green text. We are appreciative of your support. YouTube channel members. Appreciate you guys being here. I see Kevin in there, KM1X. Andy Cowley was in there earlier. Ham Radio Wilderness with Frank is in there. Of course, Big John's Ham Shack is in there. And several of you others. Joe, I see you in there as well. Randall was in there earlier. Racer X07. Appreciate you guys being here, and thank you for the support of the channel. Once again, like I said last week and again yesterday, we're giving away 2 Yaesu B-Stock radios on Christmas Day. Morning of Christmas, probably going to go live at 7 a.m. because last year, I went back and watched my stream from last year on Christmas Day. We went live at 7 a.m., and I streamed for 2 hours and 20 minutes. So I guess you guys were lively. I don't remember. It was a year ago. I guess I'm planning on going live for an hour, and I went for almost 2.5 hours, and I assumed that you guys were really lively, and I just kind of kept going because y'all were talking to me in the chat and whatnot. So, and I appreciate that. I really do. So come spend Christmas morning with me. Sign up for the giveaway. I will put this link in the chat. Let me make sure I do that up correctly real quick. Put this link in the chat today and pin it here in a second. So go sign up for that if you haven't done it yet. And someone mentioned a minute ago about the Redodo sale. They do have a 4% off site-wide, 6% off 2 packs or more, and 10% off of all accessories. Redodo Power is their website. They do have an affiliate program. So if you don't mind, you can use my... what did I do there? Stop. Go away. Okay. You can use my affiliate link. It is in the description and in the email that I sent out today. So if you're signed up on any of my email lists, you should have gotten my email today, and I appreciate you guys being on those email lists. So let's bring Callum on. It's always fun to have Callum on the show. He's entertaining and much more knowledgeable about I am about antennas and gusty winds in the United Kingdom. How's it going, man? What are you doing?
Well, apparently we've had up to 80 miles an hour today.
That's just crazy.
I've already had one person go, "Oh no antenna for Christmas." He sent me a picture of his snapped the Earth's commander. I said to Lockie, "See if we can get one out." He hasn't paid. I just see if we can get one out right now. He said,
Yeah.
DHL Express, they've already been. I said, "See if we can get them out tomorrow, and he can get it Saturday." I've sent him the link to pay, but it's more important, frankly, that he gets back on the air. But there we are.
Yeah.
It's 6 o'clock in the UK, so there's some expression. This isn't water.
It's not water. I thought he was drinking water at first. I was like, where's the milk? But
yeah. So, but we got a camera now in the antenna field, and I don't know how to show the footage right now, but and I've got the main 12.4 in the middle. And I've got a couple of DX commanders each side of it because I've got a 3-element array to the US. And they're over like this, you know.
Wow.
The wind, but there we are. It's not that cold. I mean, it's, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 degrees centigrade, which is a few degrees above freezing. It's not like freezing cold, you know. Do you know my new glasses?
Okay. Yeah, I noticed that. I noticed that those were different than last. Of course, it's been a while since I've talked to you directly, except for just on Messenger or something. But yeah, those are different than the last time I saw you.
When's the last time we had a stream together? Where we're actually communicating like humans.
I don't know. I don't know. Good question. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, that's fun. So speaking of that, you said you got an array pointed at the U.S.
Yeah, I had a 40-meter pile up the other day.
Awesome. Okay, good. I'm gonna have to. Do you still do that live stream every Friday?
I do. Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes YouTube notifies me about that, and sometimes I don't get it. So
difficult one, isn't it?
Yeah. But I worked some 10-meter FT8 about an hour ago, and a couple of stations in England, one station in Wales.
Yeah.
A couple guys in Scotland, French station. Got the Canary Islands.
Nice.
And
for you,
some
nice.
stuff like for me it was
us,
great.
It's just noise,
Right. Well, it's like I'm always here in Canada, and while technically Canada is DX, it's like but you're right there. So.
Yeah. I did jump on. I can't remember his call sign, but I was VA3XXT. A week and a half ago.
Really?
Remote to Canada.
Okay.
And I worked Mike K8 to Mr. Death.
Okay. K8 Mr. Death, huh?
Yeah, MRD. Which was fun. But the 2-element parasitic array to the US, I mean, we had a pile up on 40 meters about midnight. No, it was earlier than that. 5, 6 o'clock your time in the evening.
Okay.
It just got dark.
And
on SSB, I mean, the loud guys were on 1,500 watts, but there was a couple of 100-watt and a wire, station as well.
Good.
Somebody keeps asking you what my gin of choice is.
Yeah, I saw that.
Frankly, I don't care. Whatever. It's gin.
Just as long as it's gin. You don't care.
Or a good malt whiskey. Glenfiddich, apparently, is my new one.
Glenfiddich Glenfiddich makes an excellent Scotch, a 12, a 15, and a 21-year Scotch.
Yeah.
And they're one of my favorite Scotches. If I had to pick one liquor to drink for the rest of my time, it would be Scotch whiskey. Not bourbon, not whiskey, but Scotch whiskey.
Yeah.
I mean, I like bourbon fine. I just like Scotch a lot better, so that's my thing.
Okay. Well,
but
I have it with ice, and I like to let it melt a little bit, so it's not kind of neat,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
My dad used to drink about a bottle a day, but he just had water in his.
Yeah. I'm that way with whiskey. I like to pretty much drink Scotch at room temperature, just neat at room temperature.
Okay.
And then, but with bourbon and whiskey, unless it's a really expensive bourbon and whiskey, which I usually don't have, I'll usually put one small ice cube in it and let it, or maybe a splash of water on top. Let it kind of open up that way. So that's my thing. And I'm not an expert. I'm not a connoisseur or anything like that. But that's how I like to drink it.
So I just know what it feels like.
Yeah.
KG2MM. He's been in my log so many times. Absolutely fantastic.
I know it. That's great when you work someone on your own antenna. That's really fun.
Yeah.
So I imagine it's fun. Yeah.
It's just nice,
Yeah.
Particularly if it's a 100-watt station. I don't know about you, Jason, but there's, everybody can, you buy, $2,000-$3,000 and you've got 1,000 watts or whatever else. But, you're 7,300, a bit of wire.
Mm-hmm.
If I can hear that, I'm really happy. Really
Absolutely.
happy.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I don't blame you at all. That's a great concept there. So
we got a new. But I just want to let's talk toys a minute. All right.
Sure. Yeah. Go right ahead.
I've got a Genius 8x2, so that's 8 antennas to 2 radios. But I have them into 2 VFOs, left and right ear, so I can select my main transmit and receive, and I can go. I'll just try a few different ones: the long wire, the little loop, the bigger loop. On my right ear, balance it out.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. So are you a 2 VFO man?
I am, yes. The radio actually behind me right now is an IC7700, which does indeed have 2 VFOs, and a true antenna. 2 VFOs. So my FlexRadio is the 6400, which has the 2 antenna ports but a single VFO. So it acts like a switch. You have to switch back and forth between antenna A and B.
The same
right.
side.
Yeah,
it's beautiful, spatial. I mean,
I imagine so. Yeah, but
a little loop. But you've heard of the loop on the ground.
Yes.
You can make a video about this, Jason. All right.
I think you did, didn't you?
Yeah, you do it as well, though.
Yeah.
Loop on the ground in the backyard, an extra bit of coax. Crikey, I mean, even RG58,
Yeah.
To the other VFO, and then hit the mirror that VFO to that VFO, and track them, and you get this wide. It's a brand new experience.
How big of a loop are you doing?
I do 15 feet square, and that works down to 160.
Okay. So 15 foot per side.
Yeah.
So about 60 foot of wire.
Yeah, it's nothing, but 15 feet is square.
Right, right.
Or even smaller,
Yeah.
And then I run the preamp on that.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. Somebody in the chat here might know. Your average preamp on the low bands, like 40 meters or whatever, must be about 20 dB, surely.
Good question. I think
it lifts the preamp off on my vertical and the preamp on the little loop. Sounds fantastic.
Sounds that's different for sure.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. I've heard you talk about those ground loops before, and I'm like, that's a really good idea. Yeah. But
and sometimes they're louder on the little loop. Particularly if it's like on 40 meters during the day. I mean, I know you're busy making videos all the time, and I actually get to play radio. You see.
Touche.
Thumpmaster 6, he wants Kenwood to roll out a big dog transceiver in 24.
Yeah, so does everybody. Trust me when I say I have absolutely zero influence over Kenwood or ICOM or Yaesu.
Snap.
I mean, seriously, I would love to. I mean, they all know what we all want to see because they, believe it or not, they watch most of our channels.
Do you reckon?
I think so. Yeah, I know. Well, I know for a fact that every time I have a Yaesu video come up, I shouldn't say every time. Many times I have a Yaesu video come up. John Crook comes by and comments on it. He's the U.S. or the North American Yaesu rep, and Ray. I put a post on Facebook the other day, and Ray from ICOM commented on it. It didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't have anything to do with ICOM, but he commented on it. So
I
have a suspicion they're watching our channels.
Yeah,
just kind of like why not? So the big thing everybody wants to see from Yaesu is a 705 competitor.
Oh, okay.
A replacement for their 818. They discontinued their QRP HF radio, the 818.
Yeah.
So they want to see a 705 competitor.
They used to do a lovely little brick, didn't they? Is it the 897?
That's the 88818.
Now. Oh, is it? I didn't know.
Yeah, well, it was 817 and then
818. Then they did a brick, a bigger one, like 4 times the size. 897, I think it was.
Yeah, the 890s. Yeah, that's still in production. Yeah, but that's
really?
not. Yeah, and that's not a QR. That's not a QRP. That's
100 watts. And has that got a USB on the back for your sound card thing?
No, it does not. It doesn't have a sound card. No.
So if you rewind back 20 years and look at some of the old technology that is kind of either still in production or dying off, there's a few replacements. There's that one, I think, and the TS2000 by Kenwood, which is now discontinued.
Yes.
Which is a really crappy radio, actually, but it's fantastic at the same time.
I know it. Yeah.
I mean, but it's on 2 and 70. It was. 20 years ago, it was up against like the IC 910. That was a big brick.
Right.
It was a real. I mean, the 9700 replaced that effectively.
Yes.
But the TS2000, let's call it the TS3000, right? Shack in a box from Kenwood. They can put the 890 in it with 2 and 70. Dumb it down. Or the 590.
Yeah.
And a USB in the back. And all the ports.
Right.
Maybe Ethernet. Things like that.
Yeah.
For the guy who's got his little shack under the stairs, just wants to do everything with one thing. That's a lot of hotcakes.
They're correcting us in the chat. It's not an 897, it's an 891. The 897 was the big brother to the 857 back in the day, that included all mode VHF,
brick, though,
UHF. Yes.
Yeah. Shack in a box. That needs a USB port in the back as well.
Yeah. Yes.
And you can do your audio, remote control so easy. Everything's got to be remote control.
Yep.
I've got a video coming out soon.
Agreed.
I made a little video about my 990 and how when I hit the tracking button and go to RIT and change the RIT, only one VFO changes, even though I've got tracking on. And I said I don't know how to fix that. Maybe the 6600M might suit me. It'll Flex. Anyway, Flex, what's his name from Flex? The guy does
Michael.
Michael. Gets in touch with me. So we did a 1 hour stream, right? On this Flex. Interestingly enough, Martin Lynch in the UK, he had 3 Flexes for sale, second hand, used on second user market.
Yeah, sure.
He sold them all the next day.
There you go.
But anyway, I've trimmed that down to about 20 minutes, and I asked him 19 questions. I've cut out all the, what it's like, a live stream.
Sure, absolutely.
There's a lot of baloney in it. I cut all that out. I think it's called Watch This Before You Buy a Flex. But it's very favourable, but I don't think it's a radio for me. All right. Now, you've got the 6400.
Right. The 6400.
I mean, was that a good buy for you? Did it work? Does it work for you?
It does. It does work for me. It was a good buy for me at the time. I wish I would have. They offered me a pretty good discount on the 6600, and that's a $4,000 radio.
Yeah.
At the time, it was selling for $39.99. I think today it's like $42.99. They went up on their prices, like everybody else has, over the last couple years. But I wish I would have got the 6600. I just didn't have the funds to do it at the time.
Okay.
But the 6600 has dual VFO, true dual VFO.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
With the true 2 antenna ports in the back, just like the 6400, except they're both to a separate VFO in the 6600. Yeah. Plus, I believe it has a receive only, a third antenna port that's receive only.
Well, they got these sizes, haven't they? So you can do anything with anything. Yeah.
Yep, and they've got transverter ports in the back too, so you can hook up a transverter and do 2-meter 220 hole mode or whatever you want to do.
So okay, fuck it, I'll buy one.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, for some reason, why is it though on eHam, people either love it or hate it? It's something about it which worries me.
Yeah, I think people don't like the whole. I mean, it's the most SDR radio that's out there because it has no knobs and control. You can get the M version with the knobs and controls. Yeah,
that's what I was looking at.
Yeah, but my version's the non-M. They have a 6400 and a 6600, and they have a 6400M and 6600.
So you got the box. Yeah,
I've got the box, and I do have a Maestro. It's inside. So I can, and the Maestro will remote to the. It's a front panel. But I don't think people like the whole you have to use a computer for it. I mean, you have to use a computer. You have to set it up on the computer. You have to use it on the computer. And I mean, I guess the M series you probably don't. You can probably do everything by just plugging in.
You can just about do it. Yeah,
you can. Yeah, but I don't know. I think people just don't like that. So, which I guess I can kind of see that, but that's the way everything else is moving right now anyway. I don't know.
I felt it was more like a computer with a radio rather than a radio with a computer, maybe. Something I can't get my mind around. I don't know what it is. There we go.
Yeah. Well,
now the K4,
yes.
The beta software is out for because what I'm after, Jason. So I want my shack is 5 miles away. I just want to remote into it. I don't want to remote the radio to here. I want a remote desktop to the shack 5 miles away. So I don't really, as long as I've got the PC software, and I don't need all the ports and all that baloney. I just want a Chrome remote desktop, any desk, one of those remote desktop things. And I can fire it because I've got a lot of other things. I've got my logbook down there, and I've got my Genius, I've got my antenna switch, and I just want a little quarter of my screen, changing frequency, volume up and down, RIT, whatever. So, but that software hasn't been really, it was announced about a couple of years ago. In fact, Josh interviewed Eric on, one of your big things a couple of years ago.
Yes.
Apparently it's nearly out. And when it's out, I'm going to have a look at it because I think maybe that's more like a radio with a computer rather than a computer with a radio. I don't know what it is. Something in my head.
I don't. Well, I guess it kind of depends on what you're defining as a computer.
Yeah.
So the K4 does have HDMI out, which the Flex doesn't have that because it doesn't need it. You've got the Smart SDR software that controls. Yeah. So you've got the software that controls everything in a Flex, whereas the Elecraft is a little more, I think, is a little bit more standalone.
Yeah, it's more of a radio with the ability to control it. But
correct.
We've been able to control radios for years, though.
Oh, sure.
Back to the 20 years ago.
And Elecraft makes an excellent product. I really like. I have a K3 that I really like.
Oh, do you? Wow.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, and it has two. Yeah, 100-watt version, and it has 2 antenna ports.
Yeah. Now you can get the second VFO for the K3 as well.
Right. Correct. It's the smallest size, physical size was the smallest physical size radio I've ever seen with 2 antenna ports.
Oh no.
So that's kind of neat. But I really think that Flex owns the remote game right now. You can remote an Elecraft.
They do.
Yeah, and you've got remote software for ICOM and Yaesu, and they work. They work. I mean, MFJ makes a Rig Pi box that sort of works. You got to fiddle with it, but it does work. But Flex is just, I mean, like remote. You want to do remote. All the remote contesting stations are using Flex right now. So
yeah,
I think Flex is great. I love the Flex stuff. I always have. That doesn't mean
I still need all my standalone stuff. You see, I still need my Antenna Genius. My, so the fact that it can remote is beside. I don't remote. I just want the PC software. I just want the front end that I can remote into, rather than bringing it out to me all the way here. Because then I got to run a logbook here, and I got to try and sync the two up. And,
I see. Yeah. Well, you just need like VNC or something.
Well, whatever. It's just more tech to get in the way.
Yeah.
All right, that's fine then. Yeah. So the TS3000. This started with somebody saying TS3000. What have you got on your head? Looks like some sort of club you're going to hit me with.
This is a club. So I got this. So this is my first. This is gonna surprise some people. Okay, a little bit. This is my first ever DX Commander that I have, that you sent me as a gift.
Yeah. For helping me out on the little thing we did. Black Friday.
The Black Friday thing. Yeah. So, and I knew that these were out because Mike has one of these. And so I was like, oh, the green military mask. I was like, okay, I'm not going to ask Callum for one of those because I haven't built my last one yet.
Give that away. Can we give it away
now?
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna give it away. Yeah. No,
It's old. It's old. It's got the old plates. Everything's old.
Well, no. So I've got the old classic. I've got that, of course.
Well, that's a museum piece. You could probably sell that to the ARRL.
I might try to do that. Yeah, I might hit up K5ATA and see what he has to say. Yeah. But I bought 3 of your Expedition models with the black mask, the black pole, at your Easter sale. And right after that, and I bought 3 of them so that I could give 2 away and keep 1.
Right.
And this is okay. Well, I'll come off on a side tangent in a second. But you emailed me like 2 or 3 days after I purchased or something like that, and you're like, hey, or maybe you hit me up on Discord. I don't remember.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, do you mind waiting an extra week or 2? I've got these new plates in, and I can put them all in your. And I said, sure, yeah. I was not in a hurry, just whenever you want to send them. So I think I got those like 2, maybe 3 weeks after Easter, after I purchased them. So they should have the newest plates, I think, unless you've changed plates again since April.
No, great. No, I don't want to change them again, haven't I? The grey plates. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. So, I mean, if you ever see Callum doing some sort of flash sale, it generally means I've got 50-something I need to get shot of because we're going to change to somebody else. Don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Mike on it. Mike's here.
Yeah, he's here. He's here earlier.
So, the grey plates, they're fantastic. Yeah. It lasts forever.
Right. Yeah.
Don says, what's the green tubes, the old one? No, they're brand new.
No,
and we've ordered more. There's a ton coming in next year as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
So
that with the grey plates. I didn't use black because although I tested the black, I just worry about black. Because the last time we ever had black plates, within a fortnight, I get 2 emails going, "So my antenna's just burst into flames." Right?
Really?
Because the black plates were just the right material to be upset by some of the handbands.
Oh, wow.
Just overheat, and it literally caught fire. But you got to remember, right? We got to cater for the 15, well, certainly the 1,000-watt FT8 brigade.
Yes.
You know, when I emailed Rowley for some advice about this, and he's like, "What the hell are they doing?" Said, honestly, he's running a expedition in the Pacific. I think on Fox and Hound mode or something, you can put a cutoff like strong stations ignore.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. He ignores the strong stations. Turn your power down. You're at minus 28 and you put, now you're minus 21, but you're melting everything in the process.
Wow. That's crazy. But
the 1,000-watt brigade.
The 1,000-watt FT8.
The FT8, even RTTY, is that's pretty heavy actually.
It's pretty. Well, all the digital modes are going to have a higher. Well, most of the digital modes are going to have a higher duty cycle than just single sideband. Of course.
I mean CW, you get a rest between the dots.
Right.
But FT8, you get 15 full seconds.
Yeah.
Saying that, okay, I'll tell you a funny story. Tom, all the UK, well, not all the UK crew, but half the UK crew came to the factory for an overnight, right? We streamed once and unfortunately got completely hammered. For 24
We've never
hours.
done that over here. We've never done that.
So we had all these plans to make videos and everything else. Nothing happened. But what we did do is 400 watts whisper. Which is it's 1 minute.
Oh my goodness!
Or something.
Yeah.
I think it was on 30 meters. We got all over the world.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
I did notice the temperature difference on the 2 tubes on the ACOM 2000 became about 12 degrees apart, which I was a bit concerned about when I sobered up, and it got very hot. Right. So I emailed Val at ACOM to say, "I've got this temperature difference. At 400 watts whisper." All right, and he came back to me and said, "And I said, well, problem. Do I need to change because I've got 2 spare tubes?" He said, "Do I need to change the tubes?" He said, "Well, you still getting 1,500 watts SSB if you turn the power up." I went, "Yeah, if I want to." So well, do another 20 years and worry about it then. But just stop doing 400 watts whisper.
Oh my gosh.
2 minutes, 400 watts, key down.
Oh my goodness.
If you get drunk, you give it a go. It's good fun.
Yeah, right.
Nothing melted.
Oh boy. Nothing. Oh goodness. That's crazy. That is crazy. Sheesh. So anyway, so we've got we've got the newest edition of the Expedition.
Yes.
And now I've got 3. Okay. So my small rant about giveaways.
Okay.
So you guys might have remembered that around when was that? I don't even remember. Maybe around Labor Day. I was doing a giveaway, and I gave away 2 DX Commanders and a couple of radios and some stuff off the merch website. And this is what I say every time. Okay? I emailed all those people, and I got replies from several, and I sent out the stuff I got replies for. And a couple of you guys had your emails caught in spam filters, so I was later with those, but I think we got all that sorted out. But I never got replies from the 2 people who won the DX Commander expeditions. They never replied to my email.
Amazing.
So now I've got 3, now that I've got this new green one.
Okay,
I've got
could
one.
You be a stockist, please?
I guess so, yeah. Somebody in the chat said I should build an array, and I'm like, well, that's a really good idea. So now I've got 3 expeditions with the newer plates, black masts and the newer plates that I'm going to put together. And these are some that I purchased these on Callum's Easter deal, April of this year.
Yeah, you said afterwards. You didn't get you got a deal, but you didn't get a special,
Right? Yeah,
I went free. Yeah,
I get the same deal everybody else got because you were running I think free shipping and like 15% off or something like that. I don't remember what it was.
It was good. It was
worthwhile
worthwhile for everybody. It was worthwhile for us because we got that stock out of the factory because we were overrunning out of space.
Sure. So now I've got 3 to give away. So I've got plans for a really cool thing I'm doing in January. So we're gonna wait until the first of the year, and then we're gonna do something like that. So
that's nice.
I'm gonna get through this Christmas giveaway of Yaesu radios, and then we're gonna start something new. So but that's So I've got 3 of them now. So it's all good.
Well, if we get stuck in January, I'll give a shout. Could you send one to this company?
Sure. Yeah.
This address, please, urgently.
No worries.
And I'll replace it. Yeah.
But okay. So Callum, you were telling me before we went live what the difference is between the Classic series and the Signature series, because I did go on your website the other day and I was looking for the Expedition because I couldn't remember how much they sold for retail.
Right.
And I was like, where are they? Because they're not in the same place. You've made some changes there, and I found them. It was fine. Yeah. But tell us the difference between, because I know you've changed some stuff up kind of here and there, and
it's always going up. It's never going down. But I mean,
right.
So the original, So the Classic, it's called a Classic because it was the one that made my name, and
right.
Rowley and a few other people say, do you do one like half the size? And Young, my supplier, he sent me a couple of samples. He's very good at doing that, actually. He sends me samples.
It
was actually a tiny bit longer than the Classic by about that much.
Okay.
And we called that the Expedition.
Okay.
And then I said, could I have the top 70% of the original Classic? And we'll call that, it was the 7 meter or 6.8. It's now called the Rapide Bowl.
Okay.
And that's the Classic series. So it's fairly hard wearing. I mean, you can't. It's fairly hard wearing. There's a daft video of me running around the field trying to break.
I've seen that. That was a good video.
So and there we are. But then I asked my supplier, said, "Do we get anything thicker, heavier walled, heavier duty, less flex?" He said, well, no, that's what my factory does, So, and funny enough, it was about 6 years ago. I bought, because this particular factory doesn't send free samples, I bought 118 and 412s from this other supplier.
Okay.
Which is now called the Signature series.
The Signature, okay.
The 12 and the 18. I always wondered why anybody would ever want a 12-meter bowl, because it's the wrong length to be perfectly resonant without using some sort of tuner. But anyway, whatever.
Yeah, okay.
People kept asking me, you just 12. So I thought, I'll do this. And then I built the kit, with the coil and everything else. So we have 8. And that's my favorite antenna now. Right? And
really?
I use it all the time. Because I get 12, I get 80 meters and 30 off one element with a coil. It's really cool.
Which is the one that you don't need a guy system for?
Right. Then, on this 12, I like the quality so much, I said, could you do me the top, 70% of that? And we'll call it the 9. I actually wanted it 9.2 meters long. It came out at 9.05. Just a wee bit shorter, tiny bit shorter than the original Classic. And because I knew that would be self-supporting. So we tested it for about 6 months on a pole, in the field. There's one in there now. And it does bend over. It just comes back up, you see. And that's the 9, Signature 9.
Signature 9, okay.
So, and the quality, I mean, they cost me twice the price relatively to the Classic series. That's why they're just more expensive. But they're, say, heavier duties. That Expedition pole you've got there, Jason, that is a very, very thin wall fiberglass. However, I've had mine, like down in Cornwall. It literally goes up, turns along, and just goes straight down the beach,
Right.
And then when the wind stops, it comes back up again.
It comes back, yeah.
Because you either go super massive solid, or you go the other way and just let it move around. Now, some people worry about that, and they start guying it everywhere, and then it breaks, actually.
Oh, if you don't let it bend in the wind,
let
it breaks.
It go, man.
Yeah.
Let it go.
Yeah.
I'm just going to get a top up. Ask Jason a question, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, yeah, go ahead. All right, so we're gonna. Yeah, he's he's going to get milk. No, that was a gin and tonic, by the way. So it's 6 p.m. Well, now 6:30 p.m. over there. Why not? What's up, Steve? KO4AFL. Thanks for joining us, buddy. And through Lord Jason's link, I did get your classic Lord Callum. I haven't built it yet. That's good. I'm actually, you guys are making fun of me, and that's okay. That's okay. But I'm actually waiting on Shane and Frank, because the three of us said we were going to build our expeditions together after all three of us bought them during the Easter sale. We were waiting for the weather to break because oh, hey, what's up? And we were waiting for the weather to break because it was 100 degrees in Texas over the summer. But as soon as fall got here, I said, okay, guys, let's get together and build these antennas. And they never got back to me. And that's going to be my story for I haven't built mine in the last 3 months. But granted, I've had it longer than that, but still. So a minute ago, Callum, let's see, Ken was asking.
Oh, yeah.
I see that I can get a DX Commander mast on DX Engineering now. Would it be cheaper to buy it directly from them, or would it be cheaper to buy it through you or through them?
When we did the whole pricing strategy, it should. DX Engineering have a policy of trying to be a tiny bit cheaper than the manufacturer. Funnily enough,
okay.
It took a lot of spreadsheets, believe you me, to get that. But and they do free shipping. So most of that, free shipping over $100. And since all our antennas are over $100, it's free shipping. Now, it's not express shipping. I mean, we, as you know, Jason, and a lot of people on the chat here will know, we have a special voodoo, as somebody called it, shipping fee.
Yeah.
Which is incredible, right? Mm-hmm. Lockheed ships today. Very often, you get it in California tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I think on a big system where, with the shipping now, you've got to remember, shipping costs us a fortune. Mm-hmm. We're probably $20, $30 more than DX Engineering if you factor the shipping in. Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
I thought I'd do a really cool trick and open the Schweppes tonic water next to our microphone so you could hear it, but unfortunately I just dropped it on the floor and it went everywhere.
Okay.
So I didn't do it to that one, but it was
So does DX Engineering carry all of your products, or is it just like
a lot?
The whole thing. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Now there's a learning curve there because they don't. I mean, to start, you got to, there's a lot of people that you got to deal with. You got the salespeople, you got the sales director or manager, president, whatever you want to call them. You've got Melanie, who's my supplier manager. Mm-hmm. And when you got to teach them all. I've been on Zoom meetings. They've all been having lunch, sandwiches, and Tim's there and everything. And I do a little presentation, try and get them up to speed. But what we noticed the other day is, months ago actually, they weren't selling DX10 separately. My wire. I've got some over here. So we've corrected that. So you can now buy DX10 directly from DX Engineering, everybody's favorite antenna wire. Right. And reminds me, I was going to make one of those crazy Christmas videos. I never did. And so that. And also that the plate set, they didn't realize that people wanted to buy just, they bought a pole, maybe they might want a plate set or buy the accessories. So it becomes quite a big catalogue of stuff. But they literally, it was 11 big pallets we shipped, DX Engineering. It was basically, I took a 3 month, they had to advise, I had to prove it to them, but I took 3 months turnover to the US and said, there you are. There's 3 months worth, and that was 11 pallets.
Wow. Okay.
We're a multi-million-pound company these days.
Well, hey, man, that's good. That's good. That is.
No, we're not. No, we're not.
Yeah. Well, if you were, that'd be good. So,
Project X though is underway. Okay. Which I can't tell you about, but I can tell you conceptually what it is. It's something to do with an antenna.
What a concept!
And we qualify for £15,000, about $20,000 research and development grant, which has gone through now. And so there's engineers, material scientists, finite element analysis, things like that. Which is really cool. I don't know if that will be because one of the consultants in charge of the money for the government who's very keen on intellectual property, and he wants me to go for a patent on something. Which just sounds great, doesn't it? Oh, yeah, we've got a patent on this, but it slows it down getting to market. And I just want to get it on there, you know.
Sure. Yeah.
But that'll be quite expensive, but it'll be very good.
Good. Well, new projects are always fun to see, for sure.
Well, every time I have a meeting with Tim Duffy, K3LR, the first thing he says, "What you got coming up new?" You know, people love buying new stuff, don't they?
Yeah. You don't even need it. You're like, what is it? Is it new? I'll buy it. Here.
Particularly you bloody Americans. You
know, I know it. Yeah.
If it's new, you suck it up.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, totally.
Lovely. Anyway,
that is a true statement.
Yeah. So we got some. I mean, I've announced it on Tim's show and yours, but the Rapide is going to be freestanding eventually. Give me another 2-3 weeks after Christmas, we'll announce it.
And it's a 7-meter pole?
7-meter pole. So it's 70% the size of a classic. You dig a hole in the ground, go to Home Depot and get a little bag of postcrete, we call it here, you know, instant concrete stuff.
Yeah.
It's $5. I don't know what it is. You throw that in the ground with some water, you know, with the post. Make sure, because everything happens in minutes. So don't go, oh, where's my spirit level? Because by the time you've got it, you come back, it's, you know, it's sitting like this. And there we are. And it will just slip over. And you'll have 6 bands, no ATU. Perfect. Or great for those people who just don't want the visual impact of a bigger antenna.
Okay.
But I'll use one for a few weeks just to show people
that
on a small footprint, maybe 6 to 8 feet radials.
Okay.
It'll still work. It'll be fine.
Do you make anything that does not require radials?
Well, it's Project Y and Project Z.
Okay. My problem with a DX Commander would probably be perfect in.
Well, I'm about to make a video on 3-foot radials.
Okay. All right,
no.
that's cool. But I've got 3 dogs.
Yeah.
And my problem is not that I don't have the room. I got room. I could put it right there on the other side of my ham shack wall, right there, no problem.
Right.
And I have enough. I have enough room. I think I have enough. We just built a new patio last year, so I've got less room than I used to have. But I think I've got enough room for all the radios. But my dogs would absolutely just trample that stuff. And I know that you could say, well, yeah, you can bury them and you can do this. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. I don't know.
Have you seen my dogs tearing around my field?
I have, yeah. But your field where your antenna is that I see on your videos is larger. It's larger than my backyard.
Okay. Have you got different sort of dirt? I mean, do you have grass?
I have grass, yes.
Yeah. So you just get some little biodegradable pins, pin it down every couple of feet.
That's an idea.
In the spring,
yeah.
You know, when it's just, you know, water it.
Right.
And I'm not joking. I mean, after 24, 48 hours, because I think I put mine down in the winter, but there was enough heat to, you know, a quarter inch of growth, you know, on the grass. Django did kick up a couple, in fairness, and I pinned them back down again, you know. I cannot find them now. They are not there. They don't exist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you want, right?
Yeah.
So.
But I think,
okay,
because I know that some people are worried. Is my volume? I'll just ask the people there. The volumes we've got, Jason's volume and my volume. Am I about the right volume?
It should, according to the meter on my side, it should be even. And nobody, okay. I haven't seen anyone say anything, so I think we're fine.
Fine. I think, you know, I want to do a 3 foot and a 6 foot and maybe a 15 foot or something.
Radials.
Video, yeah. I'm going to put a DX Commander here in my backyard, you see, which is 5 miles away, and we can then measure. I could put the 590 here, and we'll just look at the signal meter as I change things.
I'll
remote desktop to here, and I can just see it. Does the signal I need to be away from any obstructions? Right. All antennas are affected by other things. They just are. All right. So it'll always work. All right, I made a video. It's not called Will It Work? It was going to be called Will It Work?
Okay.
Because I do get this. You know, I will come to your question in a minute, sir.
Yeah.
Rowley, he used to teach the radio amateur exam in New Zealand. and put a big tuner, a balanced feeder to a 6-inch nail, right, and made a DX contact on 10 meters on a 6-inch nail, right?
Nice.
It's before the days where people would be interested in video, but so will it work? Yeah, but would he have been better with a a Ringo or an Antron 99? Yeah, of course he would have been. So it'll always work, right? It just depends on my version of will it work is, I'm after that last little bit, right?
Right.
Now, if you can get away with half that, which is 3 dB, right, which is equivalent of going from 50 to 100 watts, and I've got to do a video. Jason's much louder than Callum on my feed, says Buzz. I'll talk louder. I've got I've got a little button here. Must make a little video about that.
Yeah.
Shorter and longer videos and longer radios, and also going from 50 to 100 watts. You can detect it, but it's not a lot. Right? In the main, you'll find it'll just work.
Okay.
The audio is fine. Bink 3, Rin Black.
So Jim wants to know, which fiberglass pole should I get? I have a Rapide now and would love to swap it for a freestanding.
I wonder what he's got at the moment. But the Signature 9...
He said he had a Rapide now.
Rapide now, and he still want a freestanding. If you got a Rapide... okay. Go for the 9, right? Or
Signature 9.
Just email me in the new year and say, just give me the sleeved pole and I'll dig that into the ground, all right? I mean, they're £40 plus shipping. I mean, it's going to be $70, $80 for you, but or you can find, if you can find locally, because I'm not interested in making, $12 or whatever. Just want you to be a happy customer. If you can get yourself a non-conductive, funny story about that, but dig that into the ground, slide it over the top. Yeah. So I came up, I was amazed at the original 12.4 I had an aluminium tube coming up about 4.5 feet inside the Signature 12, right? And I remember phoning Mike, M0MSN, going, this is amazing. From about 21 megahertz right up to, well, as far as I can see, I've got an SWR of 1-to-1, right? But even on 400 watts, the guy 5 miles down the road from me on 10 meters couldn't hear me. Right? So what was happening is that I'd created some sort of very strange capacitor that was sinking all the RF into the ground. There we are.
That's
non-conductive. You can get a fiberglass. There'll be a fiberglass supplier. And you can say, can you chop me 4 foot? Put 2 feet in the ground. 2 feet up the inside of the pole will be fine. I just saw something from John then. John Gendron. Was that a while ago?
I see this one here. It says, how about using rabbit wire system for a radio system for a Signature 9?
Well, yeah, you can do all this. But I can't find, I wish I could find a blooming article now. But, there was 2 people I've read that used some sort of, agricultural wire. But lots of people have, by the way, and lots of people haven't had problems. But there's 2 people in the last 50 years that put down a ton of chicken wire, whatever you want, agricultural wire. And after a few years, they literally had to move home because every time, I'm not quite sure how the physics works, but when a metal changes to rust, there's an electron that's let go,
Yeah.
Which gives you a click. And all he could hear was click, 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 in his ears with all this rusting metal, basically. Because eventually it started to cave in, for the price of a copper, a reel of copper wire.
Yeah.
And it's the near field and we were interested in the long field as well, but the near field, that first 10 foot or so is the key. Get the copper in there. And there we are. You hear crackling when the wire rusts. That's right. So
right. Yeah. I've noticed that before on some of my stuff, but okay. I don't think we're gonna have a problem, but I am starting to hear it. It was raining slightly earlier, and it's starting to get heavier. So if the feed just stops for some reason, then I've lost power. But I think it'll be fine.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll run the show. All right. I'll do it.
Yeah, that's right.
Channel takeover.
All right. Yeah.
I've mentioned it to you before, Jason, but I really do fancy some sort of channel takeover. So either you make a video or you go live, I'll give you the stream key. You just take the channel over, to an hour.
Okay. Yeah.
I just think it'd be fun,
Oh, yeah. I think that'd be fun. Yeah.
I mean, if I did it on somebody's channel, I expect them to monitor it,
Right.
Start,
yeah.
Showing, strange pictures of.
Well, you get a little bit more brave with someone else's channel, right?
Yeah, but it'd be fun. I mean, I think for the UK guys, we could do maybe some live streaming, on their radio on the other person's channel, because people get stuck in a rut, don't they?
Yes.
I mean, I do. Andrew, I watch it. He's a New Yorker, Andrew Camarata. I think sounds a bit of Italian. He's got dump trucks and diggers and all that stuff, and he makes long form videos, an hour and 20 minutes, and we're all into that instant consume, my best videos are 5-6 minutes long. His best videos are like an hour and a half, and he gets 1 million views. And, but I, for some reason, discovered I wasn't subscribed to him. And completely lost track of him. It was about a year went by. And then one day I thought, hey, hang on a minute. Why am I not getting recommended that guy, Andrew Camarata? So I look him up, rediscover him, resubscribe, and then I've got a year of catching up to do.
Yeah.
Which I sometimes, Wendy likes watching, the soaps next door. And I sit here with my dinner,
That's what I do.
And I use shift right chevron, and I watch it about 1.5 times speed.
Yeah. That's I do that oftentimes as well.
And for the really slow guys, I'll watch it at 2 times. Or very often I watch it 2 times plus right arrow, which gives me another 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Or the L, which will give me 10 seconds. To jump forward. But anyway, so what I'm saying is this channel takeover, particularly if you used your style thumbnail on my channel or my style thumbnail on your channel, they would go, hang on a minute, whoa.
Right, yeah.
It could be quite a fun video. You thought you were going to watch Jason. Oh, my name's Callum. Jason's giving me the opportunity to know, blah, 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 whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that'd be fun.
Well, it would, I mean, even if it was a pre-recorded thing, it'd be good.
Sure, yeah, totally.
So, anyway, I'm a Lord Callum, as you can see here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Are you a lord?
I am a lord now, apparently.
It's funny, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I got my shirt's inside, but I put the picture of my shirt in the thumbnail for this video. But
okay,
I have lord titles here.
Yeah.
And
Jason has 1 square foot of land in Scotland, and it's next to mine, so we could probably. And there's a coat. You've got your own coat of arms you can download in that pack.
Yeah, it's right here. That's what this is, right?
Yeah, it's actually your coat of arms.
It's my coat of arms. Wow.
Yeah.
So I guess I know what my next tattoo is going to be.
Yeah. So Mike's got one. Josh has got one. Did you know this?
I knew Callum, or not Callum. I knew Hayden got one because I saw his. I saw his Twitter, his Instagram post about it. But no, I didn't know who else got one.
I bought one for Mike, Josh, you, Hayden. My friend Mike, MSN, and I bought Rowley one as well because he's had a bit of a hard time. But I don't quite know. But Wendy said, just tell them all that all their 1 foot square plots of land are next to each other, right? And we can put a DX commander in the middle.
That's right. and a remote station, so we can work DX from Scotland. So we can work. We can transmit from Scotland and work as a DX station.
Yeah, we'd need to ask the person in charge of the electricity if we could put like an old 590 with a couple of
batteries.
SWR charts. Okay, so on 80 you should definitely get, what do I get on 80? I get 100 kilohertz less than 1.5 to 1, and I can stretch the edges with the AGU button, or my big ACOM just goes, I don't care. So that's fine. And the 10 meter band, the reason I went with a long length up and back is to get an even better match on a loaded, it's kind of a top loaded 3/4 wave 5/8 thing. But you should get, I've got about 200-300 kilohertz on there. So if you're not getting that, something else is wrong, right? What you can do is you can disconnect, or just don't take them off. Just disconnect the fault connectors with a bit of tape, get them out of the way, and just inspect 80 meters. It'll shift, but you'll be able to go, okay, where is it? Where does it look like it's gone down 200 kilos, it's gone up to whatever? But you'll be able to see what's happening and connect them one at a time, and you can see where it's moving to, because they all interact with the other. In fact, they all radiate, weirdly enough. But the match comes from the quarter wave of the 80.
I see. Okay.
Brian Hendricks, I came, I saw, I stayed.
Right. Somebody gave me a super chat earlier, and I forgot to acknowledge it. So whoever that was, thank you.
Yeah, I saw that as well. I thought you were really rude.
Trying not to. Yeah, I am really rude. I try not to interrupt if my guest is talking. I try not to interrupt him. So
you are genuinely a lord. Okay.
Genuinely a lord. Okay.
Now
I'm gonna.
The jury is out whether you can change it. You can change your name. You could be Lord. Well, you wouldn't. I would be a Lord McCormick. The fact I call myself Lord Callum is a joke, right?
Yeah.
If you really were a lord, it'd be Lord McCormick. But there.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. There we go.
Let me have a drink. Calm down a minute.
Let's see.
I want to take the funny
let me answer this real quick. I think that let me switch that. KO4 AFL is in the chat, and Ham Radio Hobby. I don't know about Glarg, but Steve, KO4 AFL is a VE for. I forget which one it is. So he can tell you in the chat here in a second. But I know that there's people that offer help due to disabilities, hearing and reading disabilities. Okay. Thanks, Steve. So yes, contact KO4 AFL Steve, Ham Radio Hobby. I'm not sure who you are, but contact Steve and he can get you set up with that. Mike, thank you for the super chat, buddy. Appreciate that. All right, cool. Go ahead, Callum. I'm sorry.
Because deep in the rules, a club station can do remote if the club station operator. As I said, I was VA, VE3, whatever.
Yes. Yes.
And then I realised my friend Jonathan M0JSX is also K4JSX as well, or something like that.
Okay.
And in the UK, they do once a year that you can do your tech, general, and extra on the one day.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I thought, well, I'll do that. I'm sure I can pass, But God, blooming hell, all the terminology is different than you blooming USA guys. It was the rules that were getting me. I don't blooming know. So when you take your tech or general or extra, do they give you a little handout so you can see where the band plan is, or have you got to remember it all?
You got to remember it all. Oh, I mean, they give you all that in the study material, obviously. Yeah. Okay. But no, you.
So do you register to study, or do you just sort of? I mean,
you do all that on your own.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Well, I didn't want to. I started reading the questions. I thought, I'll just memorize all these. I can't do this. I just want to learn the syllabus, and then give me the questions, and I'll pass.
Well, you know what? That's what I when I was in college and got my first license. That's exactly what I did.
Fine.
I just memorized everything. And I mean, when I got my general upgrade, I kind of did that, but I understood a lot. I understood a lot more when I got my general upgrade than I did getting technician, because it was just all noise to me back then. I just memorized question and answer. But as I was spent time on the radio, I started learning things by doing instead of by reading.
Okay. So, well, in the UK, they do a little booklet. It's about 24 pages long for the foundation, which is your technician.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And in there, it's actually the whole syllabus, really, if you read every word. And then the intermediate is maybe another 10 pages, and the full, the extra is maybe another 10 pages. And if you read the whole thing, I mean, it's not very big. You just understand it. I don't need 4,000 sample questions, if you know what I mean. Right. Which I thought, that'll be easy. But I downloaded the Word document, and I looked at the scroll bar at the side and realised it was about 8,000 pages long. I thought, there's no way I'm going to read all this. I'll just learn, be quicker, faster to read the syllabus and understand it. So can I download the syllabus or something like that? Do you know?
I mean, all of the. You mean when you say syllabus, you mean like the test questions?
No. So in the UK, you can download the actual syllabus. The student is required to know X. The student is required to know Y. The student is required to know Ohm's law. And I think, that is what I'm being tested on.
I don't think that I've never seen anything quite like that. That might exist, but I've never seen anything quite like that. So people are talking about Ham Radio Prep in the chat, who they are a sponsor of this channel. They have an app you can get on your smartphone for free.
Okay.
But in addition to that, Dan Romanchik, what is his? KB6NU. KB6NU, is that? I'm sorry, Dan. I should know Dan's call sign. He does the no nonsense study guides. And he gives away the technician one in PDF format for free.
Okay.
And you can just download. If you go to KB6NU, his blog, he does a blog on that website.
Okay.
And you can just download it, and it's like all of the it's basically the syllabus about here's what the bare minimum is that you need to know to pass the that's kind of what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fine. So K6YOL says or no, Paul, I'm sorry. Paul says that ARRL study books cover that. Maybe they have a syllabus in the beginning. It's been a while since I've looked at that, so I'm not sure. But no nonsense study guides. Ham Radio Prep has a free app, and you can get stuff like that. You know, when I started studying for I took a class at a local club here, but then I just, after I kind of got the material halfway down, I just started taking practice tests.
Did you? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because it's just kind of.
I mean, that's how I originally passed my exam in the UK.
Yeah.
But it wasn't 4,000 questions. It was bite size. It was 30 questions or whatever the real exam is. There were mock exams.
Right. Correct. And you can take those. There's a bunch of places online you can take mock exams.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine.
QRZ has them. EHAM has them.
Okay. And roughly how many questions on the extra, do you know, or the general?
On the extra, on the technician and the general, it's 35 questions. On the extra, it's 50.
Yeah, okay, fine.
So I think it's roughly
and cover the usual stuff, the health and safety and the license conditions and rules and all that.
Yes.
And one of it is because I cheated, I felt, is because I didn't have a tutor. Maybe you didn't either, and a lot of people
not really.
Is I learned about propagation and the band plan and the rules, and I learned everything. And the one thing that what is a diode and transistor and all that, I didn't know because
electronic stuff.
I was just like, I wish someone would have freaking told me. I almost need a tutor to this day. I mean, I know what a diode and transistor does now, but a resistor.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah.
And So I got 100% on if there was 7 sections to the exam, I probably got 100% on the 6, if you know what I mean, which is just kind of completely rule-based.
Right.
I mean, right down to sort of Ohm's law. And then the one bit which was, you've got this transistor and this diode and these 4 and this battery, and what is the, whatever, the flux capacitor value. And I just guess, so I probably got 80% or 85% in the test. In fact, I took the last ever old exam, and it was the highest pass mark ever because a lot of people thought there's no way I'm going to do foundation, intermediate, and full. So I happened to take a foundation exam, and 6 months later, I realized that the last RAE, they called it, radio amateur exam, was happening. It was actually the resit for the people that had failed. The resit, the pass ratio was 87% on that one. Because they used to do it every 6 months, you see.
Yeah.
Can you do yours anytime? Or
anytime.
Anytime. Okay. Do you log in or do you have to
Well, you have to go. Okay, so long story short, you used to have to go to take it in person. You used to have to find a club that would give it to you. Most clubs will give it for free.
Okay.
And you'd have to find a club or a VEC, a set of VEs, 3 VEs that will sit and give the test to you. Well, COVID came along, and there was a couple of groups around the USA that have been trying to get online and remote testing done for a long, long time. Nobody wanted to do it. Well, COVID came around, and we had to.
Yeah.
And now that's still a thing. So if you go to and there's a bunch of places you can sign up for it, but the one I like the best is hamstudy.org/sessions. You can see testing sessions that are local to some places and remote, and you can just sign up for any of those you want to. Now the remote ones fill up faster. At least they last time I looked at them, they did.
Yeah.
So you might have to wait 3 or 4 weeks to get into a remote session, but yeah, you can. I mean, they have. I always tell people, go, Google whatever city or county you live in, just Google it and put Ham Radio Club after it.
Yeah.
So like I live in Grapevine, so Grapevine Ham Radio Club, and find a Ham Radio Club around you, email them or whatever and say, do you guys offer testing? If so, when?
Yeah.
And it's really kind of up to them from there. So
it's interesting because I'm on the hamstudy.org and it's saying, how do I get licensed? The first thing is you need a valid taxpayer identification number, but we can take an American license.
And in fact Hayden has a U.S. call sign, and a couple other guys I know do also, but I'm not sure what the rule is for.
I think you might need an address, but I mean that's easy, John Gendron will give me an address. He'll give me an address.
Sure.
My sister in Vancouver, I can get a V. I could pass the V. I think you take one exam depending on your score. They'll give you the appropriate license in Canada.
Because then I thought, if you mean to take the next, or what are you talking about?
I don't know if they have 1, 2, 3 type exam system like the UK and America does. But do they?
If you they have three levels, and if you pass the technician, they will ask you, do you want to take the general?
Right.
And if you say, you could take it for free. You don't have to pay anything extra for it. So, and a lot of the times people will pass the general after taking technician, because basically the only difference between general and technician basically is that technician is 50 megahertz and up, so 6 meters and up. General as HF.
Yeah.
So you have to know the HF band plans. You have to know where
rules.
the CW part of the band is, and where the single sideband part of the band is, and where the FM section of 10 meters is, and that kind of thing. So I mean, it just basically adds to the technician, and then extra, which is the top one, is just kind of like a whole new thing.
Oh, is
it? There's a lot more theory, electronics theory and propagation theory.
I wouldn't do very well on that then.
Yeah, that's why I haven't. I mean, that's not really why I haven't.
I mean, there could be a little. Do you own an antenna company? Yes, so you passed.
That'd be nice. Yeah. Do you have more than 1,600 videos on YouTube? Yes. So you passed.
Very good.
That'd be good.
1, 2.
But
it'd be fine. Okay, so I mean, I think general then. I mean, I don't need an extra. I'll take the general. It's just understanding some of the terminology and in this country. I mean, I wouldn't know the answer to this question. And by the way, a lot of your answers on your mock exams had all of the above. Right? Whoa. I mean, you got A, B, C, and D is all of the above. And you think, I'll just check D, And sometimes I felt that D was the right answer, but sometimes I felt D was, it was wrong.
Yeah.
But in this country, for instance, one of the questions is always something about you are transmitting, and the local policeman knocks on the door and says, are you a ham radio operator? Yeah, you're causing interference to something. You have to stop. Right?
Yes.
And basically, can he do that? And the answer is no, he can't. All right. The only person that can stop you transmitting is the man from Ofcom. It used to be the Secretary of State or a representative of the Secretary of State. So I wouldn't know in the US, right, if a policeman says, are you Jason from Ham Radio 2.0? You're causing special interference. You have to stop transmitting now.
A police officer, no.
Right.
No, in fact, if you called the local police department and said, hey, I've got interference from this guy next door who's, I mean, they're probably going to ask you a series of questions like, is he trespassing in your property? Yeah. That kind of thing. And says,
does he have a gun?
He's on his own. Well, in Texas, they wouldn't. In Texas, they wouldn't ask you that.
No. They would expect you to have the gun.
They would expect you to, yeah. But I mean, like they're going to say, like, is he invading your property or somehow, is his antenna on your property? No, it's not. Okay, well then it's not our problem.
It's not, I know that problem.
So it's not. Yeah, you're not gonna get a police officer knocking on the door asking you about your radio equipment. I mean, I've never heard of that happening. Now, the FCC is a different story.
Yeah.
But
they're the people in charge.
Right.
And only if the FCC write you a letter and say, we need you to do this.
Yes.
Because of the terms of our license and whatever else, you just have to do it.
Well, to a certain extent, yes. I mean, depends on what they say, depends on what they do. You know, some people. So in the U.S. Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Fourth Amendment says that is the right against illegal search and seizure. And there's an ambiguous question in the technician pool that says that, you know, if somebody if they find that you're operating illegally or out of band or something like that, the FCC can come to your door and confiscate your equipment. And I'm paraphrasing. It doesn't actually say that.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, so you have to give up your Fourth Amendment rights. And like, no. What that actually means, if you go read the law, is they can come knock on your door and request to see your equipment. They can't enter without your permission. They can't take anything. They can't take anything without like a warrant or something.
A warrant, yeah.
And if you read the regulations behind GMRS radio, CB radio, and all the free band radios like MERS and FRS and all those things, it says the same freaking thing.
Yeah. Okay.
When you go buy an FRS radio, on the back, the legalese FCC jargon that says the same thing.
Yeah.
So if you're operating on a frequency inside of the USA and doing something illegal or obtrusive, causing interference to somebody, it doesn't really matter. They can come and request that they see your equipment and request that you do this stuff. Yeah. Now, if you have a ham radio license, they can forfeit your ham. If you refuse to do all that, say no, you're not coming to my house. I can't. No, you're not going to do that. They can revoke your license, but they can't come into your house unannounced and take your stuff without your permission and do all that crap. So there's again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an attorney. I'm not giving you legal advice or anything like that. But it's kind of one of those things where
it's fine. so now FRS, the family radio service, that's what we would call PMR 446, which is the little kind of toy walkie-talkie thing. Is that right?
Yes.
Now, and GMRS is a different set of frequencies or the same?
No, actually, FRS and GMRS are the same frequencies. They're all around the 462 megahertz.
Okay, we're 466. Yeah.
Right, yeah, they're 462 to 467 is kind of a range of channels in there. FRS is limited to, I think, I can't remember. I never can remember if it's a half a watt or if it's 2 watts. I think there's differences on each channel.
I think we're a quarter of a watt here, but
And then GMRS, you can do up to 50 watts on some channels with repeaters and the whole 9 yards. So,
oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Now, GMRS is just a paid license. You go on the FCC website and you buy it. It's
fine.
It's $35 for 10 years.
Yeah.
And they just issue you a call sign and you're done.
Okay. And does the radio got a GMRS approved sticker on it then?
It's supposed to. It's supposed to, yes. Yeah. It's just an FCC sticker, but yes, it's supposed to.
In other words, okay, we tested this. It's fine. You can blast this. You're 50 watts. Do what you want. Outside antennas, rotators, things like that as well.
For GMRS?
Yeah.
I mean, well, no, not. You wouldn't really need that because they're limited to FM only.
Yeah. So, they can't do SSB.
I mean, no, can't do SSB. So I guess technically you could put up a Yagi, a vertical or horizontal Yagi to do FM.
Yeah.
If you wanted to. I don't think there's anything illegal with that. But
it'd be fun though.
But yeah, you can do a vertical Yagi, sure.
Point it,
if you got a repeater that's 75 miles from you, you could do a vertical Yagi and point it to the repeater.
Sure. Yeah. 6 foot long. Yeah, you get a nice bit of gain off that.
Yeah. Yep. So, yep. But that's it. But yeah, so all of those radio services kind of have the same rules and
do a lot of people buy into the GMRS thing? Do they have call signs, or they can just open up and go, hello?
They have call signs. Pretty much nobody uses them.
Okay.
Because they don't read. Because nobody reads the actual thing you sign when you get your license. You're supposed to ID every 15 minutes, I think it is on GMRS, and most people don't know that and don't do it, and nobody really cares. So I hear a lot of when I'm on road trips, I'll have my GMRS radio in the truck. I'll just have it scanning through the channels. I hear a lot of truck drivers have switched to GMRS.
Okay, fine.
Just because it's
enough. It's 5 miles.
Right. Yeah. Miles. Especially if there's like two guys who are driving together down the road. You know, it's FM's easier to listen to. It's a little bit, and it punches out a little bit more if you got a 50-watt mobile radio instead of a store-bought CB that's doing the legal limit of power and whatnot. So I don't know.
Fine.
Yeah.
And so do you still have a CB radio as well? Do you ever plug that in? Do you ever listen to it?
I have not done anything with CB for a while. But I actually have a video coming out next week about CB.
Okay, fine.
So yeah, I'm gonna be doing some CB stuff here upcoming because the 10-meter band is up right now, as you well know.
I know. Yeah.
Which means the CB band 11-meter band is probably also rolling, which I haven't listened to it in a long time, but I'm gonna do some stuff with it upcoming.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
I find it. I just find CB so difficult these days because everybody's so opinionated about it and everything.
Well, yeah. I think it used to be great to monitor channel 19 on road trips because you would know about auto accidents and road construction long before you ever got there.
Oh, I know.
Because all the truckers were talking about it. That used to be a thing.
And then you get the guys on the flip side coming the other way. They would tell you,
Exactly.
Yeah, I know. I used to have it.
Yeah.
That was good. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and Ken says in the chat, CB now has FM too. You can do FM on CB also. Yeah. Yes, that's but technically it's limited. It's supposed to be limited to 4 watts on CB, where GMRS is 50 watts.
That's amazing.
So,
right.
I'm not saying,
And it's AM also 4 watts, the old 4-watt radio.
Yes.
AM. Yeah, okay. And was SSB always legal on 12 whatever watts it was?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Okay.
As far back as I have been involved in CB, single sideband was always legal, yes.
Yeah. Interesting, 2 Echo 42 36. So it probably doesn't exist. No, it's a color, Pantone color. But yeah, so crikey, 50, 69, 79, 80, 81. Right, when you weren't born, Jason.
I was born.
Okay, I'm pulling your leg.
Yeah,
but I actually had a 3-element Yagi. At about 100 foot off the top of the block of apartments that I lived in. And I'd come home from work about 5 o'clock in the evening, and I'd key up. And inevitably, I would end up always chatting to a fellow called Wayne, north of New York, 100 miles north of New York City, so where I'm in the countryside somewhere.
Yeah.
And he was, I've written it down so I don't forget it, 2E4236. He had an official CB license, and he liked using his call sign.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Of course, we were illegal in those days, and but that wasn't the trigger that got me into ham radio. I mean, it was just a bit of fun, but it was and when I mentioned, the reason once a year or so I mention this, because I'm just trying to get a bit more history about the CB call sign days when people actually had to register and get a ticket and stuff. That might have been. I'm just trying to understand it really a little bit.
That was before my time. We had CBs in our cars when we got my friends and I, when we got our driver's licenses when we were in high school. And about a year, maybe a year or so after that, we all got CB radios in our cars because at the time we were like, oh, we cell phones were becoming a thing back then. But that was back when they would charge you 30 cents a minute during the day and give you free nights and weekends, but 30 cents a minute during the day. So we're like, well, if we're all driving around together, and my 3 best friends I grew up with, we all lived in different towns, but it was all kind of like in the same area, all in North Texas right here.
Yeah.
So we would meet places and go places. We'd all have our cars together. So we were like, hey, let's get a CB. And back then, and that was probably in the, like, I don't know, early to mid-90s, something like that.
Yeah, okay.
Mid-90s, something like that.
Yeah.
You didn't have to have a license back then.
Yeah.
So I don't know exactly when they turned that but my dad had a CB license back when he was in high school and college. And I don't remember what his call sign was, but he was telling me about that. It was I don't know when they turned that off. I'm not sure.
Okay. I mean, he probably turned it off when I was talking to him, but he was so used to using his call sign.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah. And that was
one
before
of those...
the internet, so he is. I mean, 4236 as a hex color is now green.
You just Googled it.
It's very similar to the color of that new DX Commander.
Yeah. Nice.
Maybe that's where I got it from.
Yeah, that's what you could just call it that. Yeah. Just call it that. Yeah, that's funny.
It's a kind of a green color. It's not. Yeah, it's very
That's funny. Oh my goodness, that's funny.
So yeah, somebody asked about handles. You just invent your handle is just a name, isn't it?
Right.
I was Columbo. I don't know why.
I was Leadfoot.
Leadfoot.
Yeah, that's what I went by back in the day. And when we got in, and I'll never remember this. I'll never forget this. I mean, is that I was when I first got my ham license, we had this 2-meter repeater in town that was very active at the time. Okay, very active, and I would monitor it and talk on it and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I was listening to I was not part of this conversation. I was listening to a conversation one time. I'd probably been licensed for 3 or 4 months at this point in time.
Okay.
And one guy was on there, and he was new like me, and he was asking. There was another guy on there, and the new guy, he was like, hey, this and this and this, and tell me your handle again. And the guy came back. He goes, well, it's this, and he's answering these questions. And the guy was nice. He wasn't rude or anything.
Okay.
He's like, by the way, he's like, CB operators have handles, and ham radio operators have names.
Yeah.
So I go by Chris or whatever his name was. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Well, I can't count, and I always remember that because I cannot count the number of times I've heard hams on HF and on repeaters in the last 30 years.
Handle here
handle here is Jason. Handle here is what, and I'm like,
I don't know.
People use that all the time. What are you talking about, pal?
I know.
Yeah. So it's it's kind of one of those things. Oh, Mike's in there poking fun at me. He says, "I'm sure ain't Leadfoot now." Well, you try. I tell you what, Mike. Let's hook the RV camper up to your little Ford Focus and see how fast you can pull it to Dayton this year.
Go on a trip.
How's that? Yeah, let's try that this year.
I'm lead stomach now.
Lead stomach. I'm lead head.
Lead head. Yeah, come on. And I met my girlfriend. She was Little Dove. There we are.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Little Dove. Oh, goodness. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. Elmer Fudd, says Ken. Yeah, that was, I mean, it's a magic of RF.
Right. Yeah.
To this day.
Yeah.
I get little surprises. So I was doing one on my live stream. It was about 1:30 in the afternoon. So imagine 1:30 in the afternoon your time. And then he's in Thailand. So it's like Europe calling you on SSB on 40 meters in daylight, right? It just doesn't happen, does it?
No.
But it was 2 weeks ago. He's quite a well-known DXer. I think he's got like 3 elements at 100 foot or something. But even so, he could hear me. And he's in Thailand, and I just think that's every time a little bit of magic happens, I suppose what it is. The first time, my first ever DX is I had a 40 channel radio on AM, and I went to channel 1 and I keyed the microphone, and you remember your power and set on a little baby SWR meter.
Yes.
And then because I was paranoid about this SWR, because they told me you got to be paranoid about this. Right?
Yes.
And it was like 1.2 to 1, and then on channel 1020 it was 1 to 1, and then channel 40 it was 1.2 to 1. But when I'm on channel 1 and I keyed the microphone and dropped it, I could see this carrier coming up and drifting around and then disappear. So I went, I thought, I know what he's doing. He's doing what I'm doing, right? He's checking his SWR. You checking your SWR? And he was in Texas, this lad, right? He sounded a bit like you, Jason.
Okay. All right. Okay.
He said, or maybe Mike. He said, I want to just firing up the linear here and see if we can get into Europe. And I went, oh, right. I'm thinking, well, I'm in Europe.
I'm in Europe.
I said, oh, very good. I don't have all the gear. I just got a little Lafayette 940, whatever it was. It's a little FM rig, AM FM. It didn't have SSB, Okay, and he must have clocked my accent. He said, where are you, boy? Or something. And I went, really like, it was illegal what I was doing. People didn't ask where you
were. Okay.
I'm like, how do I answer the question? And I went, Darlington Street. He goes, Darlington Street. What country is that in, bad boy? I'm in Bath. Near Bristol. Hey, that's the UK. You got Texas here. Gone. And I thought, my God, this thing goes around the blooming world.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
This is so fantastic. With a bit of copper. Well, it wasn't copper wire. It was a bit of it was a dipole thing. Right. A little like a silver rod thing. Just a bit of aluminium in the sky. Yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah, that was great.
Oh yeah,
that's great. Yeah, I remember the first time I did that too. So it was fun. It was fun.
It is, isn't it? It is.
Yep. All right, man.
Outstayed my welcome yet?
Yeah. No, we're good. Yeah. So that's about how long we went yesterday as well. So.
Okay.
So Merry Christmas to everybody. Thank you for joining us today in the chat. Do look for me on 10 meter FT8 later on. Looks like it might be quieting down a bit, but not much. It looks like, there's Brazil. I'm seeing Brazil. Bunch of U.S. stations, of course. Brazil, Argentina. Okay. Yeah, so 10 meter FT8's a thing. We'll be live again tomorrow. And
Jason, just before we
go ahead.
Shut down.
Yeah.
It's important to note that some of our supporters are, a little bit older, and they've had maybe some troubles in their life and whatever else, and they might be a little bit alone.
Yes.
Lonely at Christmas time. So although it's a time for, cheery waves and all that stuff, I just want to say that Jason and I are also thinking about those people who don't have all the fun and games in life. All right. So my thoughts and good wishes to you as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So thank you, Callum. Man, it's great having you on the show. It's always a good time, good conversation.
It's a pleasure, sir.
And I do appreciate your time this afternoon, man. So go get yourself another gin and tonic. So
I don't know about two now. Time for dinner.
Yeah. Guys, we'll see you tomorrow. We'll be live again noon tomorrow. So catch us then. 73.
Adios.